Aloha, friends and neighbors, and welcome to program 1066. We're going to cover the second week of May 2017 for you, see what's coming up. I guess the big news is, well, as you're watching the show, you're still caught in the scary month. We had a very scary full moon happen, and you're probably tired of going, eek, a bug. Anyway, the last of this scary stuff is Sunday night, Monday morning, and then there's a day or two of accumulation, and the next full moon, which is on Wednesday, the 10th of May, is at 20 degrees of Scorpio, and it sextiles Pluto, and some bugs are good. So you just got a little more of that reptile brain startle to endure, and we'll be out of that nasty month. Good news, huh? I was watching carefully when the moon went by Pluto, and I knew there was a scary thing. Sure enough, they played movies, Red Dawn, the Russians invaded, all kind of scary movies, guns, and nuclear weapons, oh boy. And then interesting things came up about seeds. And I realized Pluto is seeds. And it turns out Monsanto and these bad GMO seed people are pushing out our real seeds and supplying us with synthetic seeds like hybrids. Hybrids can't breed, you know. I mean, horses and donkeys are wonderful. Yeah, and you put them together, you get a hybrid called a mule. But you can't breed mules. No, they're sterile. Same thing happening with seeds, thanks to, crazy chemical companies in the USA. Well, I've got a chart all drawn up for you here. I decided trying to put less color in the chart. That's Neptune, flip-flop, fluffy stuff. The real information is in the dark symbols and numbers and things. But what do we got here? The sun is going through Taurus from 15 to 25 degrees. In about 2 weeks from you, it'll be going by the Pleiades at 29 Taurus, my rising sign. The main thing is Jupiter here is still squaring Pluto and opposing Uranus and Mercury to some extent. Venus is starting to get into the mix. But basically, we still got a lot of fear going on for this month. Just got to get through Sunday night, Monday morning. That's when the sirens tend to go, eek a bug, and there's volcanoes, there's plagues, epidemics. We got to fear, Zika virus, we got to fear the viruses. That's some truth in that. But the answer isn't to apply Monsanto insecticides all over our world. No. Okay, so Neptune is lining up with them to help Pluto a bit. And Mars is squaring Neptune at the end of next week. Kind of like in the U.S. chart, there's a tendency to go off and get angry over misinformation. Yeah. But Jupiter's there, trining Mars. Hopefully some heroes, some sports guys will come out and tell the truth. Well, let's look at it day by day. We're going to run the moon around the edge. I mean, these are just the people in your life, huh? Yeah. Here's the judge, Saturn. Here's Jupiter, the lawyer. Here's Pluto, the police. Here's Neptune, the priest, doctor. Here's Uranus, the techie, the tinker, the environmentalist. Those are the players. The others here, Venus and Mars, sister and brother, father and mother, sun and moon, Mercury, kids, they move around a lot. But these big players, Saturn, the judge, Jupiter, the lawyer, Pluto, the investigator, policeman, Neptune, doctor. These guys move slowly. And so politics is the area where you see them playing, Sometimes not always for our good, unfortunately. Well, here's the moon. You're watching the show on Thursday night, the 4th of May. The moon's in Virgo. And here, what's that? Moon squares Mars after dinner. People are impatient and angry. You're watching the Thursday night show. You're probably impatient and angry. Ask yourself what you're protecting. Don't spoil your digestion. Early Friday morning. Here, this is actually midnight. Well, that's an opposition to Neptune. Confusion and delusion. Thursday night, Friday morning early. But, when you get to 2, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., here's a nice trine to the sun. And things will get better. You'll start getting stuff done. You'll see. But this should be a red Neptune. This is an opposition. I make mistakes too, So, confusion. And maybe the project should be reviewed a little bit, seeing as confusion was so close to its inception. By the middle of Friday, before lunch and around lunchtime, there's a nice trine to Pluto, and that's discovery. And that's why you want to listen to that information. That's the good stuff. Friday night, moon still in Virgo, gets to this place where it squares Saturn. That's around midnight, 1 a.m. in the morning. We got stuck. We got scared. Oh boy, look out. Yeah. But you're stuck, and it's cold. The judge. What did those judges do? Saturday morning you find out, wake up, there's more laws. They never take laws off. They just put laws on, more fences and more restrictions and more, the jails are full already, folks. What are you going to do? Saturn. Here's a... Now this is... this is a little confusing here. What's going on? Another mistake. I'm working on Mercury retrograde. That ain't Jupiter, that's Venus. So here you are, Saturday in the middle of the day, and the moon's opposing Venus. And there's not enough sweets, and people aren't having that much fun. The girls are teasing and not passing out the fruit. So, what do you do? Venus is a problem. But the real problem with Jupiter doesn't arise until Sunday. The moon just gone into Libra. We all expected Venus was going to do some goodies on Saturday. Went off to have fun. Didn't work out. Sunday morning, well, here's a trine to Mars. It's time to get things done. Do some chores. Get out and exercise. Work those muscles. You're going to need them here because here comes the T-square. The moon goes by Jupiter. And we got more expansion. Oh, listen to the lawyers. Listen to the rich people. We can all get rich. The moon's going by Jupiter in the middle of Sunday. Don't get sucked in, because here after dinner is a square to Pluto. There's panic. The police arrived. There's sirens. There's all kinds of a bug, a panicky feeling. Feel separated. That feeling of panic and separation Sunday night goes on through Monday while the moon's in Libra. Here's opposition to Mercury. This is between breakfast and lunch. Can't communicate. Where's the kids? Yeah. Then here's the opposition to Uranus. Electrical things aren't working. Feel kind of alone. That's Monday about 2, 3 in the afternoon. Finally, the sextile to Saturn comes up. The judge comes in, the boss, a feeling of grounding, and you realize you were sucked into that deal Sunday and through Monday. Don't panic, settle down, keep calm, carry on. That's what Saturn says, and he's right. And the moon goes into Scorpio, where it will be on Tuesday, the 9th, still in Scorpio. Oops, you didn't see that, huh? Here's the mess. Sunday night goes all the way through Monday in the middle of the day. And the last thing it does here in the middle of Monday is sextile Saturn. So nothing but red planets. There's a full moon right there Sunday night. That's that 20-degree Libra that sets you into a month of scary shit. Excuse my language. So here's a nice settled down feeling after Monday afternoon. Moon in Scorpio. You get positively inspired Tuesday night. the moon trines Neptune, and there's music and art. Your higher heart can come out here, some compassion for people. Yeah. What are they doing to those homeless? Were they ever homeless? Wednesday morning, here's a sextile to Pluto. There's discovery. Scorpio is Pluto's sign. So when the moon sextiles Pluto from Scorpio, big discoveries can come in. Here's the good side of the whole thing. Remember, you got the bad side of the full moon Sunday night, Monday morning. Here's the good side of a full moon. It's happening on Wednesday. This full moon occurs here before lunch, between breakfast and lunch, and it's a 20 Scorpio. And I consider it a good full moon because 20 Scorpio makes a sextile to Pluto at 19 Capricorn. And maybe I once bought a house in La Palma, California, had its own little police department. Guys wore light-colored business suits. They didn't have heavy black and leather and guns all over, and they would help you. They would help you on the street, not arrest you. Amazing. They all had to have social science degrees, be over 35, and have kids, or they wouldn't hire them as policemen. Yeah, no guns. My God, what a wonderful police department. White shirts, no black. Nice little cars, no threat. Once I was a little wobbly going home from a big business dinner, and, I was thinking of pulling over, and this cop pulled me over. And he said, "You had a little too much to drink, young man." I said, "Yes, sir." He says, "Come on, I'll take you home." And he took me home in his car. And next morning he picked me up, took me back to the car so I could retrieve it. Yeah, no cost, no issue, no right, wrong, just helped me. That's real Pluto. That was a real police department. La Palma, California, next to Knott's Berry Farm. You just change the costume, Take all the black and the leather off the policeman and give him a white shirt. Change his behavior. Well, good, about Pluto. Thing is, here's this full moon afterwards, but it's a good time to experiment. Maybe there's a police department somewhere would put on white shirts, leave their gun at home. I mean, they got gas and electrical weapons. They don't need guns. Put a white shirt on them and leave the pistols around home. I mean, see what happens. One police department has to volunteer to do it. The policemen's union. Once the guns are off the cops will feel more safe. Yes, they will. They won't shoot and get shot. Okay, enough Pluto lecture. That's for your Wednesday morning on May 10th. Feeling continues through Thursday at breakfast. In the middle of the day, moon shifts into Sagittarius right here. It's actually breakfast time. And the feeling's a little different. Thursday night, here's a trine to Venus. There's some sweets. The girls are feeling loving. There is some love and peace and quiet around. Your cat comes over and licks your hand. There's confusion, though, Friday. On Friday, we have the square to Neptune and the opposition to Mars. And here is the road rage. Here's the drunk who gets belligerent and fights. That's the U.S. Mars-Neptune square. My God. The U.S. government gets drunk and fights, or gets religious and fights, or gets confused and fights. So here it is anyway, Friday. You're going to see people doing it. Ask yourself what you're protecting. You're confused. Friday, May 12th. Saturday, the moon's still in Sagittarius until you get to about dinner time and it goes into Capricorn. But in late Sagittarius, look at that, in the middle of Saturday, even before lunch, here's a trine to Uranus. Common sense, brotherhood pops up. Hooray! Then there's a conjunction to Saturn. Hey, maybe we could put some laws in that actually did some good for people. Empty the jails. Empty the jails. It's just baloney. And here's Mercury. The kids would be really happy. That's about midnight Saturday. So Saturday, in the middle of the day, right through the evening, there's a lot of enlightenment, a lot of practicality here. I hope it does some good. On Sunday, the moon's in Capricorn, and it kind of feels a little different. Sunday night, here's a square to Venus. Can't get no rest. But there's a conjunction to, there's a square to Jupiter. Well, it's a busy Sunday afternoon. But on Monday, the moon hits Pluto and makes a sextile to the new full moon time. So Monday, you'll have some discovery here. Could be quite nice. Could be. Okay, here comes 3 minutes of editorial on you. I'm deja vu. I'm here again. I'm watching people in the USA teaching us we have to fear something. It seems like, you know, the lawyer, rich people, politicians, whenever they want your attention, they start a little war, or they come in, you got to be afraid of this, be afraid of that, be afraid of this. Remember, it was weapons of mass destruction, and down went Saddam. Well, you know, they're a one-note pony because they're doing it again. And they're resurrecting it all. Are you buying it? I'm not. What are we supposed to be fearing right now? Is it Mexicans? Oh, homeless? No. Immigrants? No. ISIS? No. You know, now they've shifted over. They went on, oh, we should go fear Russia. And Putin came out and said, hey, I'm not going to fight with you guys. I mean, we're like the bully of the world looking around for a fight, because you know there's going to be some fighting starting around August. I've covered the chart of the U.S. And there's an eclipse. Oh, wait a minute, we got to fear North Korea. You know how silly that is? That North Korea, we should give them a couple of nukes so they can feel more. I mean, they're surrounded by nukes from the U.S., and they're afraid, and they're afraid. That's the reason they're doing all of this. If you give if the whole neighborhood has got a bunch of guns all around you, and you're the only one, and you want to get one gun anyway, well, doesn't that make sense? If you're surrounded by gun collectors. So anyway, this is fear Russia. No, fear North Korea. That's really silly, you know. Oh, wait a minute. We got opioids now. Maybe we can't do the drug war on the marijuana people. The old hippies now are more powerful. And the whole country's going to legalize it. We get it back away from. Now we got opium stuff. What opium? It's not opium and morphine and real plant material. These are the synthetics the drug companies make. And, you know, when Nixon did that thing, which Haldeman confessed to, about the drug war, it wasn't just pot they demonized. No, it was also in the opium thing, heroin wars. Oh boy, heroin. Listen, I have a lot of friends in the old days. They said heroin's a lot easier to get off of than tobacco. But wait a minute, we're supposed to fear foreign people and foreign things. And that drove a lot of the drug war. Fear the Chinese, they got opium. Eek! They call it xenophobia. And we filled our prisons with people that were so-called innocent people. Yes, pot smokers, opium smokers. My goodness, what's going on? Look out, the Muslims. Look out, the Mexicans. What is this silliness? I got something to say. See this? There's that Chinese guy smoking his opium. He's got a cat. Now look, that to me looks like a pretty nice way to relax. I learned something about Chinese. I thought they were just silly Chinese. Oh, look, they eat with those sticks. And then I took a degree in public health and realized, you know, that they can wash those sticks better than we can wash a stupid fork. And all their food's cut to size, whereas we choke on the beef all the time. You have to learn the Heimlich maneuver. Our method of eating is not nearly as civilized as these folks. This is an old civilization. You know, you really, but you know, they built the railroads because the small statured diminution, these Chinese could work harder in a day than the big alcohol wheat howlies. These guys had their green tea and their rice, and man, so everybody was afraid of them. So they demonized them. Ain't got a Chinaman's chance. A lot of guys would shoot Indians. You know, they would shoot Chinamen. This was a horrible thing. You know what else I found out? When I was working in the health department on Kauai, They did a survey for several years, surveyed all the problems, the health and safety problems. Yeah, from accidents and injuries to jail but all of the health problems of all the people on Kauai. It was an enormous project. And you know what? They did it by race. Yes, and there I was, suddenly in possession of this wonderful study. They don't do that anymore. So I started looking through it all, and I knew Kauai. I used to drive around there in my health department Jeep. I was kind of notorious. I did a lot of good work. Scared them all. But what I found out was the Chinese over there have less accidents, less injuries, less divorces, less jail sentences, less cancer, less heart attack. You know, they really get by life a lot better than especially your average white man, who's kind of savage when you compare the statistics. What are you saying, Frost? I'm saying that the Chinese culture is superior to our culture in terms of health and safety and things. Look at stuff like infant mortality. We're at the bottom of the list in the U.S. And here's Cuba at the very top. They're doing their doctoring right. Anyway, this demonizing the Chinese is exactly the wrong thing. And opium, too, and morphine, a gift of the gods to mankind to ease his hurts and allow him to sleep. You know, concentrating like heroin gets dangerous. Concentrating any drug. Brandy is more dangerous than beer. Naturally fermented alcohol drinks good. Wine and beer. You just concentrate them, you get trouble. Anyway, beware the Chinese. Oh, yeah. Beware the opium guy. This guy and his cat, they're going to conquer you. Haha, this is 420. April 20th, I'm sitting on. History Channel just did a really good 1-hour history thing on the history of opium and heroin. Really enlightened. But look at this now. At least you got to keep this in mind. On that, by the way, they acknowledged that Nixon reignited the drug war, even though all his advisors and the groups he said on it said, don't do that. Yeah, the hippies with marijuana, blacks with heroin, and criminalized both heavily. They could disrupt those communities. You could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening. Now the jails are full of people with this ridiculous pot laws, ridiculous opium laws. I mean, laudanum was liquid opium. You could buy it in a store. You could get it through a catalog right up until the, first 19th century, to the 1900s. Until then, it was cheaper than beer. So demonizing it is as dumb as demonizing pot. But they're going to do it. They got to find somebody to fight and demonize and get you all scared, huh? Yeah. They got a guy in there who wants the drug war to go off. He says here, did we know we were lying about the drugs? He says, of course we did. Yeah, disturbing. Nixon did it all by himself almost. And we've suffered so much in this country. They have more people in jail than everybody else. And the weirdest thing of all is they picked two of the nicest plants, buddies to mankind, for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Yes. Yes, marijuana and the opium poppy. And they managed to demonize it. What a shame to the age we live in. By the way, that was John Ehrlichman made that statement. He knows he was dying of cancer, had no reason to lie anymore, coughed it all up. Look, I hear on 420, I noticed Roundup ads all over the television, 3 or 4 different kinds of Roundup. And California just got the right through the courts to label Roundup a cancer-causing thing. So the label goes on Roundup, causes cancer, and there's the ads all over TV, and they just keep doing it. They just keep doing it. Asbestos is still out there, too. We knew 50, 60 years ago it was bad. They keep doing it. Why is that? Government. We put these people in government that don't know what to do. Here's an example I hate. Government allows GMO and defends their use. They're really screwing up the seeds. This is a terrible business. They're right into your lunch pail now. When government does these things out of stupidity, they never take them back. Like they made sure all milk had to be pasteurized because it carried, lung disease. Turns out goats don't. But you can't. They killed the goat's milk industry with this law. You can't get organic goat's milk. Got to pasteurize it all. You get cow's milk, dead cow's milk, that makes all the bones in your body grow long. Got to get up and run like a cow. We're making cow people. Listen, what you put in your body is not the government's business. Whether it's the kind of milk or whether it's pasteurized or I'm keeping you safe. And you put a stamp on the meat. I mean, it's all a ridiculous thing. What you put in your body is your business, not the government's. Now I've got 2 minutes left. Some quick astrocartography. You should be getting into the fire zone that I talked about before. But there's a May 25th new moon coming up. Shows wind and power outages, little chaos, public chaos over on the Pahoa side of the Big Island, And then there's another new moon, July 22nd. That one also shows chaos, personal chaos. Now this could be volcanic action showing up over there. But I went back to my original work, which... I got to confess, see, when I do astrology work, the next few days I forget it. That's what in order to do your chart, I can't remember it. Well, here I made my notes, and we just take a quick look at them. And here's the fire trip, where it said Molokai, but here's June 16th. And what I did is I went through all the lunations here, too, and the sensitive astrocartography ones, and it picked up, May 25th as a sensitive one. And the trouble is that there's another one, and this afterwards, if it was a one single event, great, but we start out May 25th, and then we get a signal June 22nd. Now sometimes these go 3 months. They do. In fact, 3 months brings you to middle of August, end of August. And when I look through all of these things, I get all these signals piling up, and they may be all leading to the same conclusion. The big windstorm, maybe hurricane, is going to hit the Big Island here, August. Feel the fear. Hey, you'll be out of it after Wednesday.